Hey, what's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the most important NYCFC talk show. It's time for the Dudes in Blue. It's episode 138, technically, but it's the 2019 season premiere. Welcome back, everybody. How is it going? I'm your host, Joe Amato. Alongside me, as always,
Antoninho, reporting for duty, sir.
same great face, different
Studio.
Yeah, there you go.
Studio.
Well, if you guys are joining us, welcome to the first episode of 2019. We're broadcasting live from the Spaghetti Hot Studios. It's our first official sponsor that doesn't exist. They're the most important sponsors, the Spaghetti Hot Studios. And we've definitely got some things to talk about tonight. We're gonna talk about our new show format, which we're really excited about. We hope you guys are too. Start leaving the comments if you're watching on Facebook. Let us know where you're at. We missed you, right, dude? It's been a while.
It's been so long.
Yeah, it's been so long. And Christian Smith says it's been too long, boys. It certainly has. Joey saying hi. What's going on? Jamal, Andres, Los Caballeros en Azul. Henry, Eric, it's good to see some familiar faces. Hope you guys are all doing well. If you guys don't already, make sure to give us a follow. Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. We are at Dudes in Blue. It's the best way to get a hold of us. And yeah, dude, we got, it's preseason. It's preseason for the team. It's preseason for us.
Oh yeah.
So we're gonna be testing out some new things. So guys, we're going to get into the meat and potatoes of the show, but we want to just give you a layout here. So we're going to break our show up in 2019 into segments. Dude, we worked on this a few weeks back over a few games of darts.
A few is understatement.
And I think we've got a great formula for you guys, and we really do hope you enjoy. So thanks for spending time with us. So, dude, the first segment is we're calling it the New York Groove, and that's going to be the part of the show where we talk about anything NYCFC related from the week, whether it's a match, and if there's no match, news surrounding the club. More often than not, that's going to be our major match talk, the meat of the show. So, I think without any further ado, let's get into it.
Let's do it.
The New York Groove. All right, dude. So it's preseason is officially kicked off for NYCFC. We saw their first match against FC Copenhagen. Well, I did. I don't know if you got up that early.
Some of us. No. I'm far too busy sleeping.
Yeah. So we're gonna be chatting a little bit. We'll chat a little bit about the game. And I take all these games with a grain of salt, dude, because they really don't mean anything.
Grain of sand, because they're in Abu Dhabi.
That's very true. Let's hear from the comments, guys. Let us know what you thought of the game, and let's talk a little bit about the match here. My biggest takeaway from this match, and I know you didn't watch, but my biggest takeaway and my biggest issue was the fact that they did not have an out-and-out striker. Now, that being said, they hadn't announced the signing of Matrica yet, and it's still unclear as to what exact position he is going to be playing. But they didn't have an out-and-out striker. You thought it was going to be Tati Castellanos. Then you saw Maxi step up top, which we know how great that always tends to work out. We saw Jesus Medina take up that striker spot. But up until this point in the preseason, dude, we really haven't had any out-and-out strikers. And that's been the major concern. And that was clearly the major concern for me in this preseason game. Obviously taking it with a grain of salt.
Yeah, it's always an issue because we've seen other players try to fill that role, and some of them had a little bit of success, and others not so much. So it was always a question mark going into the offseason. And then starting preseason without anybody really there. I mean, listen, you can clearly groom players to play there. I mean, at this stage, it's a little bit more difficult to do. But again, I think at this point it's more experimental, and even with the signing of Matrica, it's not super positive that he's going to be the striker. Is he going to be more of a false nine? Is he going to be just an attacking midfielder? And what's going to happen moving forward? You always take these preseason games if you do watch them, which I usually do. Just this weekend wasn't really happening for me.
Was it at the butt crack of dawn?
Yeah, it's just it's a bit much, bit early, but again, it's hard to judge things when it's this early on, where everyone's pretty much stale from the off season, and you don't really know what you got moving forward. You're traveling so many miles away, and you got jet lag to be worried about and things like that. So we'll continue to monitor closely, moving forward as we get closer to the season starts and see where players are playing. And trust me, by week one, it'll be much easier to assess what's going on, who should be playing where, and who should be on the bench, who shouldn't be playing at all, which is always one or two of those guys straggling around.
Yeah.
But right now, we don't have anyone to pick on. We have no one to pick on right now.
Not just yet. Not just yet. Let's get to a couple comments, dude, because we have some comments about the match.
What we got?
Eric on Facebook is saying, looked like classic NYC at the end of the past two seasons, but it was a strong opponent, so I was somewhat satisfied. That is very it's very optimistic of you there, Eric. I appreciate the optimism, but yeah, I mean, again, you got to take these games with a grain of sand, like Anthony said. Joey says, not surprisingly, the team struggled to score goals. Stuver, or Stoyer, if you're pronouncing it properly, was impressive. And I'll say he was. I mean, there were a few chances that Copenhagen had that they should have just blatantly put away. They were just absolutely horrible at finishing, except for the second half when they started to decide to just score insane goals. But other than that, I mean, it was pretty, these were guys that had not played. It's to be expected, right? That being said, not to get too far off the NYCFC rails here, but Atlanta did have a 7-goal first preseason game. They won 7-1 over I don't know who it was. So they didn't struggle to score goals, that's for sure. But it is what it is. It's a preseason match. Take it for what it is, and you move on. You got a few more preseason matches. Come March 2nd, that's when I want to see this lineup totally solidified. And hopefully we see some more goals in the preseason, because that was very, very disappointing from the goals standpoint.
Yeah, I think you want to see more. You want to see them obviously come from multiple different people. I think the best thing that can happen is you get towards the end of preseason, you get more competition at each position moving forward. If you've got two guys that are playing really well at each spot, number one, it's a great problem to have, because you're going to get quality from whoever's playing. It also makes it that much easier to pick a lineup, because whether you're 1A or if you're number one and number two guy there, if they're both giving you the same output, it's really great knowing that either for 90 minutes you're going to get great things out of both of them if one guy gets subbed on, or if you get we're going to have a lot of weeks where we have multiple games. It's nice to know where you could play one guy early in the week and one guy in the middle of the week, and later in the week you can split them if you want to, and nobody gets upset, nobody's hurt that their position is being taken away. You want that competition throughout the season, because it keeps people hungry, especially the young guys, especially the guys who don't get minutes, like Jonathan Lewis. For me, he's got to have a huge role this year. But if he wants it, he's really going to have to stay hungry the entire time. And I think it would be unfair of the coaching staff to put players in who aren't hungry all the time, because when you get guys that aren't hungry, you get these games where you don't produce anything. And I think we've seen far too many of those come at the wrong time of the season. We don't want to see that moving forward. Like you said, by March 2nd, you want to have somewhat of an identity when it comes to a lineup, and try to keep that shape and that squad moving forward, to keep it consistent, to make them gel. If you're going to spend the first 2-3 months of the season constantly mix matching players, I think it's the way Atlanta plays and the way other teams in our division play, you can pretty much dig yourself a huge hole that you might not be able to get out of by midseason.
Yep, for sure. Dude, let's shift gears a little bit here. Speaking of new players and things like that, NYCFC today finally announced the signing of their third DP, Alexandru Mitrița, if that is being pronounced correctly, for a hefty, almost $9 million transfer fee. I didn't think this team was going to spend any money, but apparently they were saving it all for this one dude. All 5'7" of them. Are you excited? And let us know in the comments, guys. Are you excited about Matriza and what he can possibly bring to NYCFC?
Excited. Seeing the way he's played recently, knowing that he has the skill, he's like a bizarro Jovinko. Like, he's just the same
Let's
stats.
hope he's not one that doesn't score goals.
Yeah, let's not. Yes, we don't want that. We were not. Nope, no good. Jovinko's one of his favorite players, and I can see why, because they share a lot in common. I mean, his game is pretty much modeled after Jovinko, and that's by nature. If that's if you got a favorite player, you usually try to emulate that style. And he's on the shorter side, like Jovinko is, and I think when you can follow somebody that does that. We know how great Jovinko was. If that's the guy that this guy looked up to and tries to play like, you're going to see a lot of those qualities come out. You're going to see a lot of good footwork. You're going to see a lot of speed. The issue is that where exactly is he going to play? Is he an attacking mid? Is he a
Thank you.
9? Is he a false 9? Is he an outright striker? It really depends. I think the height. I think we're at a strong disadvantage in height if he's a midfielder, because then you go talking about him and Maxi in the midfield, and who are they fighting for air balls?
50-50 balls are non-existent.
It's almost like you automatically start behind the 8 ball at that point, because you're not going to get the ball. You got to fight to win it back, and then you're talking about fouling people, which, make no mistake, just because these guys are smaller get fouled a lot doesn't mean that they don't foul a lot themselves. Oh, excuse me.
Uh-oh.
Jeez.
He's got the preseason coughs. While Anthony is choking over there, I want to get to a comment here.
Yeah,
Christian on Facebook says, I'm cautiously optimistic. Obviously, he can score goals, but he's not a traditional striker. This goes to exactly what you were talking about, dude, is where is he going to play? That's my major concern, is that, we don't have an out-and-out striker. Now, I understand he could play an attacking midfielder. And look, let's talk about Jovinko a minute, dude, because Jovinko wears the number 10. And that's not a number 9. That's a number 10. But we've seen Jovinko time and time again dominate that position, but dominate as a striker and cause major problems for defenses. So if he's modeled after that, then that's fantastic. I just hope it's not too little too late in that, I mean, he's young. He's, 23, 24 years old, something like that. So you hope it's not too late. But again, where is he going to play? We don't know. We don't know what the full lineup is going to look like. We don't know. Look, dude, when you had David Villa on the field the same time as Maxi Morales, and Maxi Morales was playing as a striker. So I don't know what the hell Dome is thinking with these players coming in, where he's going to play them, whether or not he's going to play some of the guys that need to play. It's going to be very, very interesting. And honestly, I'm excited to see him in preseason to see if he can, start scoring some goals early. Get used to it.
Yeah, you want to see, is he going to be more Medina-like, or is he going to be more Izzy-like? Is he going to be is he going to have that ruthlessness about him? Is he going to have that nose for the goal? And it's tough. It's tough to say. It's really tough. You can always watch highlight videos, but again, you're picking out very selective moments.
Yeah, come on.
Those moments aren't strung together consistently throughout the year. It looks nice in video, but when it comes down to the field, it makes a huge difference. And again, like you said,
you could make a highlight reel for Rodney Wallace.
Sure, you could.
And Kyrie Shelton. You could make anybody look good.
Yeah.
Maybe
exactly.
not Wallace, but Kyrie Shelton.
Yeah, Kyrie, for sure. Again, I think you said it too in the beginning. Almost $9 million. You didn't think the team was going to spend that. And everybody was worried about the team spending money. Hey, CFG, open your wallets. Hey, be careful what you wish for, because just because you spend a lot of money on something doesn't mean the quality's there. So was the $9 million spent wisely?
We'll see.
That's the real question. That's what we're going to have to find out towards the end of the year. You'll see it. You'll see whether it's worth it or not. Halfway through, if not sooner, just because that's the way it is. But you're looking at a guy who's put a couple of goals in the back of the net as of lately. And again, you got to just take a step back and realize that he's in a Romanian league. It's not super popular. There's a lot of factors going in of why
Romanian
he's
national
scoring a
team.
lot of goals.
Romanian
Yeah,
national team.
Romanian national team, which is not nice. But again, I mean, not many huge names come out of there. But there are a few, which is nice. We'll see. Again, far too early to tell, but cautiously optimistic is probably the best way to look at this right now because
That's
if
the
you're gonna
best
get
way
your
to look
hopes
at
up,
anything preseason, really. I mean, like when you
you
think
have
about
to.
it, like if something great happens, great, but it's freaking preseason. You're playing, you know what I mean? Like it is
Yeah,
what it is. You know, I want to see goals because that's what we struggled with. And something else to be concerned with, guys. It's like, look, we signed this potential striker, forward, attacking midfielder, whatever you want to call him. What happens if he gets hurt? When David Villa was hurt, you at least had Joe Ingeberget. We have no depth as strikers go. We have a lot of forwards, but the guys we have are traditionally wingers or midfielders. So what happens when this guy's legs run out and he's not scoring goals for you? Now who do you put in?
That's a tough one. I think the biggest thing to remember is that at one point or another, many years back, Pep pretty much instituted the 7 second press. Trying to get the ball back once you give it up. Another thing he actually implemented, which was nice, when you do that, he pretty much allowed his top three guys, left, center, and right, whoever they may be. He really allowed them to have a lot of creativity in the final third. Everyone else pretty much held their position in the midfield and on defense. And when those guys were in the midfield and in their own end, they held their shape. But once they got to that final third, they were able to switch around and pretty much be, express who they really were as players. Thierry Henry being one of them at Barcelona. Way back when was it Barcelona? Am I right? Am I wrong? It was a long time ago.
Yeah, but dude, you're looking. When you look at Man City's front three, and you look at like the coach wanting to implement a strategy is one thing, having the players to execute is the other, and that's always going to be our issue. Like you bring in a great European coach like Domet Turan's coaching can be disguised by the players that are out on the field. The quality of his coaching is only as good as the talent that he has. So He might have all the best laid plans, the best laid tactics, but the game's not played on paper. It's played on a baseball field, dude. We've talked about this before.
That is right.
It's just again, we'll have to see. It's so damn early to be trying to try to make predictions, but it'll inject a little bit of fire into the squad to know that they have, a big player, not necessarily a big name, but coming in, somebody that they put a lot of value in, a lot of weight in, and a lot of money that you hope is going to be able to put the goals away. Because, dude, we need a 15, 20 goal scorer on our team. Because I'll tell you right now, if it's anything like last year, it's going to be very difficult to make up those goals if you don't have a striker that's scoring regularly.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And you have to hope he brings Jovinko's creativity with him, too, because if he's going to be able to drop back as a false nine and let other people get in behind the defense, the guys in the wings, he's got to be able to get those guys the ball, too. So it's not just about scoring. It's about just as much, creating. And Villa was great at that. Villa would rack up the assists just as much as he would the goals, which was fantastic.
The interesting thing will be to see when there is no David Villa. And actually, Domet Turan talked a little bit about this in one of his his season preview kind of interviews, where he said that when David was on the pitch, it was great because you got David Villa on the pitch. But the problem was that everybody was always looking for him. And we talked about this over and over again. Was that when you have a guy like David, if you have the ball, you're looking for David. Right? Now, who are you looking for?
Not David.
Not David. Maybe it's Alex. Maybe it's the other Alex. Maybe it's the other Alex.
A lot of Alexes.
A lot of Alexes. But yeah, it's exciting. We're glad to have him, and we hope he'll bring to the table what Let's hope he's justifying the spend, because that's a big nut, especially for a team that wasn't spending any money.
Yeah.
who needs to score goals. That's what needs to happen. So
Yeah.
Dude, let's move right along here to another segment here. We're going to move on to, normally, guys, this is the part of the show where we pick the dude of the match. And we're shifting things around this year. We're not doing dude of the match anymore. We're actually going to be doing dude of the week. And basically, if NYCFC does not have a match, we're going to pick a dude of the week, somebody that stood out, whether it was on the pitch or off the pitch, to win that award every week. So, dude, without any further ado, let's move on, shall we?
Let's do it.
Dude of the week. All right, dude. Dude of the week. You had mentioned that you wanted to give it to Matrica. However.
Yeah.
However, I'm going to make the case, and you guys in the comments, let me know. Jonathan Lewis. Jonathan Lewis getting dude of the week. And here's why. Jonathan Lewis, in 2 U.S. men's national team appearances, not starts, subs, picks up 2 assists, both absolutely beautiful. Taking on defenders 1v1 and putting the ball in the box. So, dude, would you agree on this? I mean, like, this is monumental, I think. I mean, it's massive.
Yeah. I told you this a few weeks ago. If you have been called on by your national team, there's no reason why you should not be getting minutes at your club. You are clearly of quality, regardless of what the national team is. You have the skill and the ability. And now you've seen it. You've seen it in these last 2 games. Picking up assists is not easy at that level, especially when you haven't, played there before. And listen, how many minutes has he played all year? He's been, he's been sitting for a whole season virtually. So to be able to come off and do that, and with different teammates, guys you're not used to, guys you've only been in camp with for a few weeks, I'd have to agree. It's fairly impressive, and I think this only solidifies the fact that he needs to be a staple in this lineup, whether it's consistently in the 18 or whether he's earned a starting spot. Now, he's got competition, which is fine. But that doesn't mean he does not deserve to play. I think with the lack of a second striker or a second forward, or whatever you want to call it at this point, I think playing him on either side of the field is fine. I think Izzy can play on either side of the field. I think it comes down to who your target man is and what your game plan is. If your game plan is to whip it in from the sides, make sure your guys got a strong foot to get it in and swing it the way you want. But for me, I think Lewis is one of those guys where he could play on either side. He showed you, and I think again, I was impressed with him very much. I'm glad he got the assist, and I'm glad that there's physical evidence that's like here and now that shows you why he deserves to be playing. So,
dude, we saw it.
It's good.
We saw it even at the club level when he did the same thing when he came on as a sub for NYCFC. He did the same thing, yeah. And if it wasn't it was scoring goals. I mean, this is what the dude does. The kid's got skill. He's got ability, right? Yeah. I'm down with him being a super sub. I'm down with that.
There are still things he needs to work on.
Dude, of course he's young. There's still things that Matrica needs to work on. So like,
I don't think that those things warrant him sitting on the bench. I don't think you learn that way.
If you compare Tati Castellanos minute for minute to Jonathan Lewis outshines Castellanos 9 times out of 10.
I think with less minutes.
With less minutes.
So,
yeah. Look, this is a what have you done for me lately kind of game, right? Kind of situation.
Sure.
But this dude does for you lately. So, and he did it for the U.S. men's national team. His first appearance for the senior team, correct?
Yes.
So, come on, man. Come on. And this wasn't just luck. This wasn't just right place, right time. This was him creating something out of nothing. So, I think for sure Jonathan Lewis is going to get dude of the week. This is, for the first time in 2019, this is cool because we're actually able to give it to an NYCFC player, but not about NYCFC. It's actually pretty awesome to be able to give it to him for that. So
yeah.
So going forward, guys, if there's a match, the dude of the week will most likely be somebody from the match. But if there's
multiple matches,
right? Because if there's a couple of matches, absolutely. So it's really from the week. So that's really what Lauren's asking, if she should start the dude of the week Google Doc. That would be absolutely fantastic.
Only if she's gonna keep up with it this year.
I didn't want to say it. But she's got some wedding plans, so she might be a little busy.
Yeah,
might be a little busy. But I hope you guys like that. I hope you guys like that format for that. We still got plenty other tricks up our sleeves for tonight, so stick around with us. And if you guys are, we really appreciate it. Make sure to smash the like button and share this video with your friends. And if you're listening on the pod, share it as well. We appreciate it. So, dude, the next segment is we're calling it the Far Post, guys. The Far Post. This is non-NYCFC related news or talk, because I feel like the world of soccer is such a big part of our lives and of your lives as well, the listeners and the viewers, that we want to be able to talk about a little bit more. So, dude, we got some things to cover in the Far Post, so let's get into it for the very first time ever, the very first inaugural Far Post.
So excited.
The Far Post. All right, dude. Here's what we got on the docket for the Far Post for the first time ever. Obviously, the U.S. men's national team, first 2 games under Greg Berhalter, coming away with 2 wins, a victory over Panama and a victory over Costa Rica. We obviously just talked about Jonathan Lewis having an integral part in both of those matches, leading 2 assists in 2 appearances, which is absolutely fantastic. What are your, just hot take on what you've seen from the men's national team?
I think first and foremost, you have to give credit to Coach. Berhalter's been he always knew how to get the best out of his players. Whether it was at Columbus or here now, he's spoken about how everyone's just been great to work with, great to deal with. People are working together. They realize it's a team thing. It's not an individual thing where. Some countries, it is more of an individual thing because you have really, really big players and you have those big egos clashing at times. Sometimes they're not so friendly with each other. These guys are all pretty much relatively getting people are getting their first chances. People are new, like Johnson and Lewis. So I think the effort, first and foremost, to be able to put together 2 solid victories in fashion where you're coming off of an off season, you're fresh in camp, you're meeting most of your teammates for the first time, and you're still you don't have your huge players. I mean, look, Clint Dempsey's out of the picture at this point. So it's really nice to see the effort and the kids with the energy try to push this team forward and carry them and put ego to the side and just work hard. I mean, listen, hard work is there's no substitute for it. So that for me has been the biggest thing. Nobody's really giving up on the field. You're not pointing fingers when things go wrong. If you make a mistake, hey, look, this is what you did wrong. This is what you need to do moving forward. And you learn on the fly. But at the same time, you also pull together 2 victories, which is nice. And it's really a good way to start off the campaign for Berhalter and the boys.
If nothing else, but for confidence, right? I mean, because
Sure.
When you look at Panama, you're talking about a very, very stripped down Panama side, a pretty stripped down Costa Rica side, but nevertheless, we were stripped down to an extent as well because we had so many new faces on the pitch. So for sure, Christian Smith on Facebook says, missing out on the World Cup may have been the best thing to ever happen to us. We needed a kick in the ass to push us forward. Looking back with Arena was never going to work. So I think he's right to an extent. I think that we needed that. I think, we needed a wake-up call, So it is what it is. Joey says, take out Bradley for good, and I'm all in on this group. Ha, ha, ha. I don't think you're probably going to get your wish at some point. I don't necessarily think it'll be anytime soon. But nevertheless, moving right along. So congrats to the U.S. men's national team. Congrats to Jonathan Lewis. Hopefully it's more positivity and good vibes, man, going forward. Dude, the second bit we've got for the far post is, and we didn't talk about this beforehand, but somebody mentioned it in the comments, and I want to add it to the far post. But the MLS Cup officially had more people in attendance than the Super Bowl.
Now let me tell you something. I'm going to save my piece on this for my segment towards the end of the show because you'll see why.
Fair enough. But we can't discount the fact that it's pretty awesome.
It's awesome, but it's a little murky. It's a little gray area in this little section here.
Oh boy. Well, nevertheless, the Major League Soccer is playing this up to the largest extent, and honestly, dude, the Super Bowl kind of felt like a soccer game without with commercials.
Someone said that to me yesterday. Someone was like, it was 3-0 for for the longest time, and it's like a soccer game.
It was pretty uneventful.
It's always funny because that's the verbiage you use when any other sports game is with a 7-point lead or a 14-point lead. It's like, oh, this is a football game. Well, this turned out to be a soccer game for a majority of the time.
Yeah, that was it. And look, don't tell me about soccer being a low-scoring game. I don't want to hear it anymore.
No, not at all.
Let's move along here, dude. Let's just talk one last thing before we move on to the next segment. The Premier League is on fire. I just have to say how freaking excited I am for what's happening right now. There is a race for first with 2, maybe 3 teams. The race for fourth is so hot. It's really freaking exciting. And I do have to say this, dude, before I let you kind of go off a little bit on this. But last year I asked you when the Premier League started. I said, dude, what's your gut reaction? Who's going to win the league? And you said Liverpool. And I laughed at you. I said, you are crazy. I am again, hasn't happened, but there's a chance. There's a chance. And I will happily eat crow if it does come to fruition that your prediction was totally correct. And that happens. But dude, leading up to that is going to be glorious if it continues this way.
I think that's the best part about some of these European leagues, where you've really got, ultimately, because of the different tournaments and leagues, Champions League and things like that, and the Europa. You're talking about not just the race for 1, but the race from 1 to 6. Or even 1 to 7 in a lot of these leagues is it's incredible. And all it takes is for one team to go on a run and one team to go in a slump, and you're all of a sudden talking about teams going places they haven't been before. It's nice to see. Again, this is Liverpool. I don't know if they have enough. They're slipping a little bit lately, but. Again, it's always nice to have these races come down to the very end rather than them being over, halfway through the season.
Oh, you mean like in Ligue 1 in France?
Yeah, exactly. Or even Man City won the league last year. They were, that was a runaway. Miles and miles ahead. So this, I think, makes for exciting games. And not only, for the top 2 teams, but the teams that have implications around these guys. So, yeah, listen, I'm not by no means am I a fan of any one of these teams, but I will throw the Premier League on whenever it's on Saturday and Sundays and sometimes during the week. And I'll just watch and I'll enjoy it because the brand of soccer there is so special. And just the names that, that we constantly you see in FIFA and you've played with over the years and things like that. It's really cool to see what these guys can do in real life. And it's nice. It's the drama. The drama of it is what makes
it beautiful.
It's what makes it beautiful.
It makes it absolutely. Guys, let us know in the comments who you think is going to take the Premier League. I want to know, is it going to be Liverpool, Man City, or I'm going to even throw Tottenham's hat in the ring because they're just a few points behind City. So let us know in the comments who you think is going to take the league while we get ready for our next and most probably exciting segment. Maybe. Will it live up to the hype? our next segment, I'm not even going to say what it is. I'm just going to play it, and then we're going to do it. Deal?
Do it.
It's time for Ants Rants. Ants Rants. Dude, take it away. What's pissing you off this week?
So since everyone likes it when I get aggravated and upset, we figured we'd make a segment out of it. So let's do it, shall we? So first of all, this whole Super Bowl thing with the attendance. Take a step back and realize that the tickets for the MLS Cup are probably somewhere like $4,500 difference in price. So it's a lot more affordable to get to that game. The seat configuration is much different. There is a lot more media at the Super Bowl than there is at the MLS Cup. So before everyone gets all hyped up and says, "Oh, we had more fans," take it easy, because just be glad you're in the same breath and conversation. Because soccer, unless football falls off the face of the earth, it's not going to get there in this country. It's just it is what it is, and I don't personally like football that much. Probably because the Jets suck, and that's my team. But it's just relax. Like this is the point. This is where facts and content and context are two things you need to know before you speak. And too many people speak without realizing that, hey, there's things that are also going on behind these numbers, that there's a reason why there was more. So to that extent, just take that argument and relax yourself. Everyone's going crazy about it. It's easy. There are multiple things behind why there are more fans. And I'm there with you guys. There are some friendlies where there are more fans in the stands. But again, it's a different sport elsewhere. And listen, if football were as big, overseas, you'd have equal amount of crowds there. Trust me. So that's one thing that's annoying me.
I'll be honest with you. I'm not really feeling the anger that should come with the Ants Rants. I feel like there's more coming.
Well, yeah, I mean, yeah. So, so I don't know if you we got an email a few weeks ago about the team, and said team was, if you apply for the City Voice, it's like a survey thing every once in a while, and it's like a discussion board. Sometimes they got some cool stuff on there. Other times they give you crap like they want to give you now. Now, don't get me wrong, the NYCFC's media squad is fantastic. The photographers are all good. But they had this notion that because they're the podcast that, we all currently do now, like Blue City and NYCFC Nation and Blue Balls and things like that, just because we're very popular, they decide that they want to try to do it because, they want to get that group of, they want that listenership. You're not going to do it. You're not going to do it. If you gave us people who put like blood and sweat into this, the same amount of access like some other teams do to their players, you get great content because it's not biased. Anything the team puts out is going to be biased. So if you're trying to sell anything other than a player interview, it's not going to happen. You're not going to have a podcast. You're not going to have a show. You're not going to bite off of us and do a live thing every week. It's not going to work. Leave it to the people who deserve to do it, who have put the work in, and just leave it at that. I mean, I love all you guys over there. You do a great job, but, like Ian Joy had like 3 episodes with RJ Allen of their like show podcast thing they had, and that just didn't go anywhere. We tell it like it is. When the team is playing poorly, we try to figure out why, and we bring it to you, and we share it with you. We also give you a voice where you guys tell us what's going on, what you guys think is going on, where the team is just pretty much all talk out of one side. So if you like it, it's nice. It's pretty much just an interview. It's not really anything. It's a conversation. I would be more inept if the team were to open that up to us and let us, I'm not saying we got to ask disrespectful stuff or anything like that, or take questions places where they don't need to go, but at least give us an opportunity to analyze and do things like that. So, other than that, I'm getting married in a few months, and wedding planning is a pain in the ass. So if any of you guys plan on doing that, don't
That's
do
awesome.
it. Or hire someone to do it for you because it's very stressful, very
Yeah.
stressful.
Oh, it
But
is.
but in all seriousness, not much to get super mad about this week. There will be weeks where I blow my top. There will be weeks where I probably throw things. But we'll save that for the first loss of the season.
But that's okay. That's okay. But because that's what this segment is for. That's exactly what this segment is for. We hope you guys enjoy that because you're gonna see it every week. So just why don't you get used to that? You know what I mean? Joey on Facebook is saying, have a raffle each week. A winner gets to go on the show on the phone for a minute or two and rant with Ant. That's funny.
Oh, jeez.
That's
It's
amazing.
a duet. It's a duet. It's lovely.
Uncle Dom is saying, can I do a rant sometime? We would totally say yes, except iTunes would shut us down for the number of expletives from one man. The F-bombs per minute will be
It's like a Jerry Springer show.
Yeah, Roger on Facebook is asking stadium rant ? No.
Oh, dude, wait a minute. Do I use that one right now?
Not
Can
yet.
I get into it? All right, yeah, we don't have much time to do it.
Not yet. We got to move on because we're coming to a close here. We got we hope you guys like that. If there's something you would like Anthony to rant about,
ooh, this is good too.
Go on Twitter or Instagram or Facebook, whatever, and use the hashtag AntsRants, and maybe one day something that you're upset about will tickle Anthony's fancy, and he will be ranting about what you want him to rant about. So make sure to use the hashtag AntsRants, and maybe one day it'll be part of the show. How about that?
Sure.
Dude, we got one more segment before we wrap things up, and let's hit it with JoeStradamus. It's the time of the show called JoeStradamus, which is a new thing that we came up with a couple of weeks ago because we had nothing better to do. It's a part of the show where we're gonna kind of close out the show with a crazy ass prediction, something that might be a little crazy, something that might be a little bit predictable, but we're trying to have a little bit of fun with it. So, dude,
it's a hot take.
Here is my prediction for this week. My prediction is Manchester United will lose their first game under their new head coach to Fulham. 19th place in the league. Fulham is going to give Manchester United their first loss under new management. Boom. I'm not predicting the score. I'm not predicting that, but I am predicting if I gotta predict the score, it's gonna be like 1-0. It's gonna be like 1-0. Like that's it, right? But that's my prediction. What do you think?
Listen, stranger things have happened.
Look, this will not be the first time.
It's got to come sometime, right? Listen, you got to lose some point.
This is not the first time that Claudio Ranieri will overthrow a major club, albeit he's doing it with a really bad team. But I don't know. I've got this feeling. I looked at the fixture list and I was like, something's going to happen here. Something's going to happen.
Quite possible.
And that's what I think it is. If you guys agree or disagree, let me know in the comments. But we'll obviously be able to talk about it on Monday to see if I'm right or not. Right? Yeah. Roddy is saying, nah, not going to happen. Fulham is gonna get smashed. I hate Man U, but no, it will not be Fulham. Okay, Roddy. Hey, listen. This is, I'm just trying to have some fun here, and I don't know. I have a feeling.
There's just really not much else going on right now these days.
This is what I got to do. This is what
we got to do.
You know what I mean?
To for right now.
Yeah, for sure. Well, that brings us to pretty much the end of the show, dude. It's been a long break, about 2 months since we've been on the air with you guys. We really appreciate you spending time with us. Smash the like button for the Dudes in Blue. We'll be back here Monday night at 8 p.m. Like normal, with the podcast coming out on Tuesday as well. So if you guys If you guys like the show, don't like the show, leave us a review on iTunes or Facebook. We really do appreciate your feedback. And we're at Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram at Dudes in Blue. It's great to be back. Welcome back, says Jenny Lando. Jenny, thanks so much for tuning in. We always appreciate it.
Absolutely.
And dude, this has been fun. Let us know what you think of the new segments, because this is going to be every single week. But dude, this was fun.
Yeah, I enjoy it. I like incorporating some more worldly topics and things like that. I think we open it up to more people that maybe aren't super interested in NYCFC, or maybe want to get interested and need a place to start. I'm constantly on the Reddit, and you always see people popping up. Hey, listen, I want to start watching MLS. I want to root for NYCFC. What should I know? First thing you should know is listen to all the podcasts and watch the content videos. It's a great way to learn and get everyone's opinion, and then formulate your own opinion based on what you've seen or what you will be seeing throughout the year. So, yeah, if you guys like it, again, share it, like it. Let us know what you might want to see, what maybe we can add to the show, what maybe we can alter with the show. Again, it's here for you guys. So you let us know, and we'll see what we can do.
Absolutely. Well, dude, this was totally fun. Hope you guys enjoyed it. But we will be back Monday night on Facebook Live and Tuesday on the pod. And as always, guys, it's great to be back, and stay blue.